Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Gina Bender. I'm a partner with Victory Nutrition International. It's my pleasure to be with you here today hosting this Victory Nutrition Saturday Quick Start training. And we're going to have a lot of fun today. We're going to have a poolside chat with some of our top leaders, emerging leaders here and partners with Victory. So with that, we're going to go on and get started. And I want to share with you this morning one of our top income earning leaders with Victory right now, Cynthia Sauer. Cynthia, are you with us this morning? You can unmute.
I am.
Awesome. Glad you made it. You got to turn your camera on so I can see that pretty smile.
Okay, give me just a second, girlfriend.
Okay, while she's turning her camera on, I also want to introduce this morning one of our other top field leaders and partners with Victory. There's Cynthia. And our next leader we're going to be having today is Lisa Turner. She's also one of our top leaders, a director building a strong business with Victory Nutrition. Lisa, are you with us?
I am. I'm trying to figure out my photo again.
Okay.
I'll be on in just a second.
Okay, and then I'll go on and introduce our third leader.
It says I cannot start video because the host has disabled it.
Okay, so hang on one second, and okay. I will turn yours on. And okay, so you'll just have to click on where I asked to start video. And then we also have with us the beautiful Cynthia Rose coming to us from Idaho. So Cynthia, I want to personally thank you, Cynthia Rose, for getting up early this morning and preparing for this call. I know you would have did that anyway, but it takes some time for us girls to get ready and be prepared to do these things in the morning. So again, thank you for joining us. Cynthia, I know you're coming to us from the beautiful Shenandoah Valley in Virginia. Lisa, I'm not sure if you're traveling or if you are in Arizona or if you're back in the D.C. area. There you are. I see you, Lisa.
I'm back in D.C.
Okay, super. So, ladies, thank you all for joining us. And before we get started, Cynthia, I know you're one of our top leaders in the company. You're building a very strong business. You've made it to executive director, which is a huge accomplishment in such a short period of time. You've not even been with the company, 2 years yet. And do you want to share a little bit before we get started about you and what you're doing with your team?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here today. Can you hear me well?
We hear you wonderfully.
Good. Well, I'm going to take the glasses off, look straight at you. So welcome, and pat yourself on the back for being here this morning. There's so many other places we could be today and other things we could be doing. So the first thing that I want you to know is that if you're hearing my voice, live, then you really have what it takes to make the commitment to be a part of these trainings as they come out. So I'm excited because Lisa Turner, amazing leader and friend for a very long time, and Cynthia Rose are also here today. And it gives a person great joy, and you too will experience this joy, to have people on your team also achieving and catching the vision. And so what we're doing is we're working very closely together to define what is it about. We love the product, okay? That's a no-brainer, okay? And we love Bill. But we're trying to define on my team and Lisa's team and Cynthia's team, and you have many teams within your teams. So you're the CEO of your own empire and business and wherever you want to take that. But what we're doing is we're working closely together to define what is our mission and our vision for our personal life, and how our mission and vision and VNI ties into that. And so that's been very empowering. It's actually, Bill's vision is redefining my own life's vision, and his vision is impacting every area of my life, not just health and wellness, but the possibilities of what Victory Nutrition as a company can do for my entire life. My financial life impacts so much, And so, and for you as well. So once we get in a mission mindset, and I'm a very mission driven person, the other things just take care of themselves. So that's what we're doing. We're defining what it is we're excited about and passionate about, and then we're going after that in keeping with the life compass that Bill so beautifully talks about in one of his videos. So I'll pass it back to you, Gina. Just so happy to be here.
Thank you, Cynthia. And Lisa, I want to talk to you for just a moment. I know you're building a strong business too. I know that you're an entrepreneur. I know your family, your children. Fortunately, I had the pleasure of meeting your boys and meeting your husband when we were out in Phoenix. So I know you come from a very entrepreneurial family anyway, but what really attracted you to Victory? What was it that really grabbed your attention?
When Cynthia and I had gone to this presentation, we had no plans to start with any other MLM. We'd sort of sworn off of them, but we met Bill and Kim. We saw the products, and I saw amazing, amazing science behind it. And it was just a beautiful synergy. And I just said, Cynthia, we've got to be a part of this. And she's like, I know. But what was interesting to me is my husband and sons weren't really ever on board with MLM. And so it was interesting. My husband had come to one of the presentations we had here in DC, and he had a chance to meet Bill and Kim, and especially Jeff Hooks. And he's like, Lisa, you have my blessing with this company. So that meant so much.
Yeah, that's absolutely super. So I know, like I said, you're building a great team. You're building a team throughout the U.S., which brings us to Miss Cynthia Rose out in Idaho. So how did you actually find out about Victory Nutrition?
Well, I actually heard about Victory Nutrition via a Catholic radio show. And there are people in my family who struggle with addiction, and one of the radio hosts was talking about some supplements that could help with addiction. So I followed up with the radio show, and through that contact, I met Lisa and Cynthia Sauer. And meeting them and learning about the products and the company, I even took myself to convention to validate how wonderful people seemed and the products seemed, but I kind of needed to know for sure. And once I met everyone and really saw what we had to offer and the mission of the company, it was no other option for me. I'm moving into retirement and looking for an extra income stream and a way to make a difference and stay with my background in health, and it was perfect.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you, Cynthia Rose. I know you're doing a phenomenal bang-up job with the compensation plan because you're bringing in preferred customers, which we highly encourage. And we'll talk more about the compensation plan in just a few minutes. But just to give everyone a quick background about me, because we may have some new people that tune in. I've been in the health and wellness industry early on. I was in nursing for about 2 years. Then I went into relationship marketing when I was 30. So actually I've been in relationship marketing now half my life. And I absolutely love it. I found a way where an average person can create above average income if you have the desire and the willingness to help others. And there's a saying out there, if you help enough people get what they want, you're going to get what you want. And I do believe that. But, so we do this together as a team. As you see, we're all here together. So no one gets to the top in any company by themselves. If they do, then they're very lonely because it's no fun going to the top of any company unless you take people with you. So speaking about taking people, I do want to touch on the reason I have this background, this Bahamas background, is because last year my husband Ed and I had the opportunity to spend 4 glorious days with our founder and CEO, Bill Downs, and Kim Downs, who runs the company as well, and also with our president, COO, Jeff Hooks. It was an amazing trip, guys. I mean, I can't tell you, Victory Nutrition is a 5-year young company. They set the goal, I believe it was about 1.5 years, to reach the level of Envoy, which Ed and I did. Now, I'm telling you, don't be discouraged because it took us 4 years to get to Envoy. We didn't have the tools that we have now to get there. And I know Jeff has hinted around, and hopefully he's going to be, cluing us in over the next few days and weeks about some new tools, or perhaps a tool that he's bringing to the company that he says is going to be a real game changer. And when he says game changer, that makes me think what we were able to accomplish in 4 to 5 years, you guys can accomplish it in 6 months to a year. So I'm real excited. I can't wait to find out what this is and be able to share the tool with the team and with the new people we bring on board. So they'll set the trip and the announcement up sometime, probably maybe January or February, of when this trip will take place. Basically, to become an envoy, you need to have a group volume of 125,000, which sounds like a lot, but really, if you've got 1, 2, or 3 good people that are helping you and out there sharing the mission, of helping people to become missions of health, hope, and abundance, it doesn't take long to get there. And the reason I'm excited for you, Cynthia Rose, is you probably don't even realize this because you're one of the new kids on the block, but actually your preferred customer volume does roll into the unilevel plan, which can help promote you to executive manager, to director, and beyond. So again, probably 90% of the Victory Nutrition customers or people that we have on board using our awesome supplements are customers and preferred customers. But we need men and women, especially like you guys, who see the vision, that want to go out there and share this and help so many people. We can share this ministry right now in the US and Canada, but in a few short years, we're going to be able to take it into other countries. So that's exciting for me. I love to travel. The reason I love the industry of network marketing, relationship marketing is because that's one of my passions, is to travel. And, I wouldn't have that opportunity if I was out there working for someone else. I've been in corporate America. I didn't like it. I've been in the healthcare industry. To me, it was always about cut, burn, or poison, whereas here we are nourishing the body to help people to become much more healthy. But the body's the miracle. If you can give the body what it needs, the body has the ability to heal itself. So as Cynthia says, we know the products are great. So we're not really going to talk about the products on this webinar because this is really a quick start training. So I'm hoping my PowerPoint's going to work okay for us, but we're just going to share together. And before we get started, I just want to mention a couple of things. It's always important to make sure you start looking at your volume. The end of the month is this coming Wednesday, July 31st, which is our closeout, which ends at Wednesday night at midnight, 12 midnight. The company will be closed at 6 p.m. So if you have any last minute orders you need to get in, make sure that you get a hold of customer care. If you can't place the order yourself, if you're traveling, contact me, or again, contact your sponsor, your upline. But make sure you've got your orders in for qualification. And we'll go into more about qualification in just a few minutes. And I want to mention the Pay Quicker account. Have you set up your account? They announced this back in May at our corporate and partner convention back here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And this is real exciting because right now, Victory Nutrition is the best kept secret out there. But a year or two from now, when we've got tens of thousands of partners out here sharing and preferred customers, the company is not going to be in a position to mail checks. We have had checks mailed for the last 5 years, but we have to step up and move into the 21st century. So, we do have plain people that we work with in the business, and they do not have the smartphones and the computers. So for those folks, if they're listening, to the webinar, because you can dial in and listen by phone, contact customer care and let them know that you choose to still have your check mailed. But as we grow the business, encourage a brand new partner that you bring on to get registered for the Pay Quicker. And the other thing I want to mention too, before we move into the training, is In network marketing, you always are building from event to event. We used to call it BAM famming, book a meeting from a meeting. So, you know, you may be out there doing one-on-ones. Cynthia, I know, Cynthia Sauer, you're out there every day doing one-on-ones, and you will talk to anybody if they're within 2 or 3 feet of you. So you're not afraid to talk to people. But if you're brand new listening to this, consider hosting a party at your home. You know, have some product samples out. We've got some great samples with the Protovite Moments. We've got the Insorb that can be used to samples. And of course, we have the Brain Reward packets. So consider having an in-home presentation. I know when I got started in the industry 30 years ago, and I was in a skincare company that is now $1 billion plus company, you know, we did these in-home presentations. It's a great way to have your friends over, your family, and, you know, work in your warm market. I think Jeff mentioned on last week's call, you know, there are a few people out there that can be successful doing digital marketing. I've not been very successful at it. I am a geek of sorts that I like to put together digital presentations such as PowerPoints and of that nature. But you will be much more successful if you work in your warm market and then get into your partner's warm market and help them. That's the quickest way you're going to be able to build, and make sure you start by putting together a list. So I'm going to move on to the next slide. I do want to mention this about the Pay Quicker since we're talking about that. I had several people contact me. They were all confused. They thought it was going to cost them, you know, $5, $10 a month to sign up for Pay Quicker. Well, I can't imagine what the company is paying to send out all these checks and stuff envelopes. But this is going to make it so much simpler for you, because if you were getting a check mailed, well, depending on when we had closeout, it might take you 3, 4, 5 days, or maybe longer if you live in Canada, to get your check. Now, when we close out on the 15th, your funds will be deposited into your Pay Quicker account that day. And so, you know, you can choose to get this debit credit card. I think it looks great. I know Ed and I have ordered one. We're going to use our card, or at least show it to people. We were always accustomed to, you know, putting our check in the bank anyway. So what we'll do is Pay Quicker is a bank. The money will go into the account. We'll just simply transfer that money over into our business account, and then we'll disperse it as we always have. But now we don't have to wait for the check to arrive in the mailbox. So what will it cost you to do this? Well, you see I've got over here, the only charge is really for you to do this is $1 for the monthly account fee. And then to transfer the funds to your bank is 50 cents. Now, if you're brand new looking at this and you're just starting to earn and you're getting, you know, some checks and you've ordered your, you know, your credit/debit card, you may decide to leave the money in there. You may want it, to leave it into the Pay Quicker account and use that money to help pay for your monthly subscription. So it's up to you as how you choose to use these funds, whether you use them in Pay Quicker or you want to move them into your bank account. And have you guys had any challenges with the Pay Quicker? Have you signed up, or what? You've got anything you'd like to speak on it?
Are you asking us?
Yes.
I've signed up and I just received my first notice that there's a deposit in it. I haven't gone any further than that yet.
Okay, well, I'm glad you mentioned that, Cynthia Rose. So what you need to do is when you log into your VNI account, and we'll show you actually on this training how to do that. When you log into your VNI account, you will go into the, I believe it's Documents. There's a Documents tab, and when you click on that, you will see the Pay Quicker button. And then you just click on Pay Quicker, and you'll be able to see your funds there, and you will be able to do with it what you want to from that point. So the Pay Quicker is attached in your back office. So we're going to go on and move on to the next slide. So, you know, are you qualified? How many of you ladies have already started looking at your back office and making sure, first of all, that you're qualified? Okay, Lisa, I see you've been looking.
Yes.
I know Cynthia, I know you've been looking because we've already been talking about it. And Cynthia Rose, I'm pretty sure you've been looking at your back office as well also. So it's very important to know, first of all and foremost, that you are qualified. If you're starting to build a large team, then you may need some one-on-one training with your sponsor or upline to help make sure they're qualified. But guys, we don't want to be the issue. And I know I have helped so many people, and I tend to mother everybody. That's just my nature, and I want to do it for everybody. But as the company grows, I can't, and you guys can't either. So we've really got to start teaching people to make sure they know what they need to do to make sure they're qualified. So we have to take responsibility for our own business. And the reason you want to make sure you're qualified too is you don't want to be leaving any money on the table. You don't want to leave it up, to chance that you're qualified. We've had people do that, and they think just because they had their 3 people on a monthly subscription, they were qualified. Somebody might have went in and changed it and moved it to every other month. So that could cause you to drop back a rank and potentially cause you to learn, to lose income as well. So, last week's call was great. Jeff Hooks does a phenomenal job of teaching and training us. He really took us to the next level in the last year with Victory Nutrition. Jeff came on board, who is our president and COO, and Jeff came on board August 1st of last year. So he has been here 1 year. So y'all be sure and congratulate Jeff. I don't think he's on the call today, but be sure and congratulate him, because we are coming up on August 1st. Because what we have been able to accomplish because of Jeff's efforts in the last year has just been amazing. We've got new tools. We've got these awesome 6 videos that we can share with, our loved ones and people we care about and healthcare professionals. And Jeff does amazing trainings. All the trainings are they're on the YouTube website for Victory Nutrition International. So if you haven't subscribed to the Victory Nutrition International YouTube channel, when you go to vni.life, make sure you subscribe to all their social media, because they put out some really good information. You'll get a notice when the videos are posted. And anyway, Jeff just completed a 3-week series of some awesome training. And last week he brought up, and I'm going to bring it up on the next slide, if I can get my mouse to cooperate. There we go. So he brought up Ken Blanchard and talked about Ken and said, this guy is a leading expert. He's also a management guru. He's been very successful in business. He's an author. He's written many books. This is one of the books that he read. But what Jeff shared with us, and he changed it, he put it to where it would work for Victory, a statement. So I want to share that with you. He said, there's a difference from being involved with the VNI mission and being committed to the VNI mission. And I'm sure every one of you understand, you guys are committed. You're here today. You're doing what it takes. Okay? When you are involved, you only take action when it is convenient. When you are committed, you accept no excuses, only results. Okay, now I'm going to stop here for just a minute before I go to the next slide and go into more of what he said. But, I have one of our friends that you guys have met, Rebecca Sidden, she's a director with the company. She is on vacation with her family and her mom. They are up in New Jersey. They'll be back this weekend, but she has been up there working Victory Nutrition. She has had me on the phone on a couple of 3-ways. She has had me place an order for one of her partners. And we also sent out a couple of emails, and I'm thinking, Rebecca, really just chill. She works hard anyway. She's an insurance agent. She's a top producer. And, I like to use her analogy as far as when you get involved in a business. And Victory Nutrition is a business. It'll reward you if you treat it like a business. But, if I hired you and if I owned an insurance agency, I'd put you in a nice office, give you we'd probably have your own phone, but I'd give you a phone and an office and a desk and a computer and say, let's make a list. Same thing with us, because we're doing relationship marketing. You go out here and treat this spare time and it's going to reward you on spare time efforts. But if you put some effort into it and realize that you're planting seeds, the rewards will come. Those seeds will grow. Seeds that you plant today may not grow for a year from now. I had a lady call me yesterday that had ordered a year ago, and she led me to her son who wanted to place a product order, who needed some help. So you just never know. You just keep sharing and caring and planting the seeds. Okay, but the next slide is, spare time is being involved, taking action only when it is convenient. And we're all guilty of it, because, I am too. Even though I say I do this full time, sometimes I don't do what I need to do. I try to put 100% into my business every day, but there's some days that, you just get sidetracked. So, we're all human, so don't feel bad. But there is a difference between spare time and part-time. It's a function of consistency and making your V&I goals and mission a priority, learning to do the right things. So that leads us to you. Are you building your V&I business, and are you making sure you are qualified and are not leaving any money on the table? So first thing, and I'm going to go through this, and before I do, is there any comments on anything that you'd like to share about what you guys are doing to make sure you're putting forth effort on a daily basis? Are you using any kind of tracker? Or are you writing down who you're speaking to? Cynthia, I know you're excellent at doing some of this stuff, and you're an awesome trainer and leading a great team. So what would you suggest as far as if you could give us a nugget of something, or a couple of nuggets of what you think would help people to focus and not treat this as a spare time opportunity, but just do it part-time?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I hear you great.
Great. So what I say is that awareness leads to change. So if you want to be at a certain level, you got to take stock of where you are right now. So, and there's things that you can do within your V&I business. An overlay for you, so to speak, is that you need to be aware at the middle of the month and at the end of the month where you are mentally, where you are on the books, in your back office, where you are in your day timer, whatever system you're using to calendar your activities, your priorities, as well as your business initiatives. And you need to start becoming aware, because we can wish that we want to move forward. And we can even take action, but if we don't do it consistently, then we're going to have, ups and downs. And so I would say right now, get out a piece of paper and a pen. Gina's going to talk about, are you qualifying each month? We're getting down into some nitty gritties, but I want to come back up for a minute and just give you a couple of tips. And I'm going to pass it out to Cynthia and Lisa Turner. Number one, I want you to write this down. Number one, where do I want to be by the end of the month? Okay. We still have 3 days. Okay. So number one, where do I want to be? Number two, take inventory from your team. And this is what a coach of mine calls ring the bell. I need to know, where is Cynthia Rose right now? Where is Lisa Turner right now? That means I need to know the compensation plan. Well, I don't have time to know it. You know what? Put it in your day timer. Make time to spend 15, 20 minutes reviewing it and going over it. We're all busy people. And it's almost like a baptism by fire, where you find the thing that you want to do, but you're already committed in so many areas of your life. You have your work, you've got your kids, you've got your, you're working out at the gym, you have all these things to manage. And now you have this major mission that's come into your life, like it's come into mine, and I've had to clear some things. So that's why I had to sell the cows. I had to, I'm putting the kids in school, because I realized that I cannot do what I need to do if I really want to make that commitment. So, so number two is, take an inventory of your team. Number three is map it out, which we're going to do here. Just jot all this down. Number 4 is what is the most important thing in your business right now? And we can go over that on a different training. Number 5, don't leave your financial future to anyone else. And this was the responsibility that Gina was talking about. If you want to learn how to do it, go back and watch videos 1, 2, and 3.
Yep, absolutely.
Become an expert at that. And then the next one is never give any mental recognition to the possibility of defeat. So if you really want to finish out the month at a certain level, write it down and move towards it. Even if you don't hit it, okay, move towards it, because you need to marry the months together. So whatever activity you're doing in the next days is what's going to carry you into August, which is going to give you a great beginning in August. So this is what I'm teaching to my team. And you're going to, we magnetize the conditions that we think about in our brains. And so, we're going to talk about a lot of great things today, but those are the tips that I have for you. Do some hot payoff activity today. The bell's going to go off at midnight tonight, okay? People are going to be enrolling people today, customers and new people. Hopefully it's going to be you, and it's going to be in the right slot in your organization. But, once you start to do the hot payoff activities, you're going to start attracting the people that are going to dovetail into your mission, which for me and my team is we're tying into Bill's vision of 10 million in the next 10 years. So that means we need to focus on that vision every day, figure out what portion we want to do. And that's where this training that Gina comes in, Gina's doing right now, is so critical, because we cast a vision, but then we have to set a goal, and then we have to take action steps. So this is how you break it down: your vision, your goals, and then you have to map it out. So that's all I got. I'm going to pass it over to Lisa and Cynthia, and then we'll, throw it back to you, Gina.
Okay, thank you. Lisa, you have any comments?
I've been reaching out to medical doctors lately, because they have customer bases, and they seem very interested in the products. They have to do their research. So sometimes, you can't be too pushy, and you sort of ask people what their situation might be, because it is vacation time. And one doctor said, look, I'm in practice by myself. July 31st, I've got some deadlines by the government. And then I have a couple weeks for vacation and, getting the kids ready for school. So basically it's like, okay, I'll follow up with you the beginning of September. And she said, but hey, there's a chance I could call you before that, because I'm definitely going to look at this company. So you have to meet people where they are. And just because it's the end of the month and you're trying to get some things done, people can feel that too. So just, be relaxed and just pray about it, and, ask the Holy Spirit who you should contact.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cynthia Rose, I noticed you have quite a bit of customer volume, preferred customer volume. So I'm assuming, and you can share, but I'm assuming that you're really building this the right way and out there talking to others and bringing them in, giving them the opportunity to experience the product first. And then, of course, we can move them over into the partner status when they're ready. So how have you been working with your clients?
Well, it sort of reflects my personal experience, because I am not an experienced relational marketer. So and my background is in health and wellness, but more as coaching people to get well. So the product is an easy way for me to introduce the whole V&I mission. And it's kind of my comfort zone. So I'm learning this business model as I go, and learning how to invite people into the business model. But I feel like the product is what gets people really hooked, because they get results, whatever their reason for taking the product is. So this is new to me. I'm learning and I'm educating my people. But what's happening now is I'm getting people on my team who want to build the business. And so I have to learn how to really build the business. So it's just sort of a reflection of, it's easier for me to start with the product, but now I'm getting into leading with the business too.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job. And you know that you know, from corporate down, we all stand behind you. We're helping you. You have, you know, you've already reached the level of manager. You're almost to executive manager. And, you know, I personally will help you with three-way calls, as well as Cynthia, Lisa. You know, we do this as a team, as you very well know, but I want the new people on here to understand that, again, we do this together and we help one another. And that's the beauty of relationship marketing, is building those relationships. So we're going to move on. We're going to talk about qualifications. You know, everybody has gifts and talents. I do not profess to be this awesome motivational speaker or trainer. I think Cynthia has the gift. Obviously, she's wonderful, and I could listen to her all day long. And Lisa, you have the gift of reaching out to professionals, getting way out of your comfort zone, as well as Cynthia. I prefer working in my warm market and working into their warm market. Now, if I were out with you girls, I could back you up, but I wouldn't be the leader. And I go out with some of my other partners and we do the same thing. So we learn how to work together and play off of each other. So anyway, but what I love is I've always loved the compensation plan, digging into it, trying to figure out how it works, how to make it better, how to make it to where the team doesn't leave any money on the table, so to speak. And so we're going to cover just some basics, and then we're actually, before the end of the training, we will log into one of my personally sponsored active partners who is at a manager level, and I'll tell you a little bit about her in just a few minutes. But really, when you get started with Victory, you need to be on a monthly subscription. It's not required, but you don't want to leave money on the table, and you don't want to take it up for chance that you're going to remember to place an order. So we encourage everyone to get on a monthly subscription. And as a partner, you only need $130 to actually qualify to pick up that income potential from earning thank you checks. I've got on here $225 to maximize the victory bonus. I want to mention that now, because as your business grows and you're sharing and bringing on new partners, and as their business is developing, if you personally sponsor them, if you're ordering, you know, an extra product or two a month and doing a minimum of $225, then that will give you the opportunity to earn an additional 10%, what we call a victory bonus, on all your personally sponsored active who are earning through the unilevel. So that can end up being tremendous over the next few years. I know Ed and I get a nice victory bonus check each month, and it well pays for us ordering extra product. So I'm going to move on to the next bullet point. What you want to do is, when you log in, and we'll show you this again when we log in, but you really want to look at your total GV. Then you can determine, well, let's say I've got $4,000 in volume. Have I met the other requirements to make executive manager? So 4,000 GV is the executive manager rank, but look at your total GV. That will help you to decide your desired rank or pin level. Now, if you haven't built anything and you were fortunate and had someone build underneath you and build a successful team, and for different reasons, it may be that you were sick. I know I'm working with one of the partners that came on board and has been very sick for a year and is now ready to get started, and she's got a great team underneath her. So you never know where people are. Don't prejudge people. I've seen so many people come back and get involved. So anyway, Ed said you really should take that number and divide it by 3 when you're looking at your 3 legs. We personally teach 3 legs, okay? Can you build a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, 7th leg? Absolutely. Do we recommend it? No. The reason is because you will be dividing your time into more areas where you could be focusing on helping the 3 people you brought to the team. So to us, having 3 legs is ideally what you want to have, and you want to have a personally sponsored active in each one of those legs. So we'll move on down to the next one. In each of your 3 or more teams, any team volume you plan on counting has to have one personally sponsored active in it. So if you've only got 3 personally sponsored and you're an executive manager, let's say you're a director, because a director, you need 12,000 in volume. You need 4 personally sponsored active, okay? So if you've got just 3 legs and you need 4, you can place that 4th person anywhere you want to place them. If you've sponsored 10 people or 20 people, and of course we're always in the sponsoring mode, we don't ever quit sponsoring, it's better to have people in 3 legs than 10. Because if you go wide and if you're personally sponsored on your 4th or 5th leg quits ordering, and you've got volume in those legs and you don't have a personally sponsored in that leg, you can't claim the leg to help push you to the rank advancement. You will get paid on it. So, but getting to the rank advancement, you need to have a personally sponsored in the leg. So again, just focus on 3, and we can help you with that and help you structure and see, you know, how's the best way for you to build your team. And again, that's called claiming the leg when you have a personally sponsored active in that leg. And I mentioned, you know, at a higher pin position, you will need more than 1 in each leg, especially if you only have 3 legs. When you get to Crown Ambassador, which is the top ranked position in the company, you have to have 12 personally sponsored active. So you could have 1 in one leg, 1 in another leg, and 10 in the 3rd leg. It doesn't matter where they're at. You just have to meet the requirements of having those personally sponsored active, the number you need for the rank you're trying to achieve within those 3 legs and a minimum of 1 in each leg. And of course, I think I mentioned earlier, a cook leg is a leg that is maxed out, and I got to move my box down here so I can read it, is maxed out with the 45% roll. So what is the 45% roll? I'm going to mention this now because you don't really have to worry about the 45% rule until, and I've got a cheat sheet. So this isn't on the corporate site, but I personally like to use it. If anybody wants to use my cheat, what I call my cheat sheet, then, you know, email me at onthepathtovictory@gmail.com and I'll be glad to send it to you. But I'm going to show you what's on the corporate site that you can use as well. But I like to hold something in my hand. So I put this together to help me. So when you're a manager, you can have 3 personally sponsored active people and you can reach the group volume of $1,000. Technically, those 3 don't have to be in 3 legs. You might have sponsored 1 and then 1 under them and 1 under them. I don't even suggest doing that. I always suggest sponsoring, get your 3 partners and then sponsor underneath them. That is going to be your best strategy in building a long-term residual business, is identify your 3 partners up front and do that. And then when you get to executive manager, it gets a little bit different because technically you still only need 3 people, and you only technically need, and I'm going to look from my sheet here, I have it on the sheet coming up, but at executive manager, you can count up to 45% or actually 60% at executive manager out of your strong leg. So Cynthia Rose, let's say something happens, you go on a vacation for a year and you don't do anything but just order your products, and someone underneath you takes off and starts really building strong, that leg goes to $10,000. And then you can look at the volume and say, oh, wow, I've got enough volume to be executive manager, but you have to be structured. You don't have to build the ranks in the other positions, but you have to be a little bit structured at executive manager. Sure, you met the 4,000. You can count 60% of that, which is 2,400, but you're going to need the difference in the other 2 legs, okay? So let's say in the beginning in your building, you've got a second leg. You're saying, wow, I got this volume. I'm going to start building. And you build your second leg, and that second leg makes up the difference and does 1,600. Okay. And then your third leg, you have 130. That would qualify you with two strong legs. Okay. Your first leg, your second leg, your third leg. So I've had people say, well, that's kind of like a binary. Well, yes and no. You could get to executive manager. You could even get to director with 2 strong legs. You still have to have the third leg, but as you build, remember, this is about helping others and helping develop them. So at the executive manager, you do have the 60% rule. So keep that in mind, because that's why Ed says it's best if you try to build evenly when you first start. So you don't have to worry about one runaway leg. And you're the leader. You're the one out here recruiting and bringing people in and sharing the products until you have other people hold their hands up. So just keep that in mind. Don't put all your people down one leg. Build into your 3 legs so you're structured more evenly. So does that make sense? Does that make sense for you, Cynthia?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, super. Okay, and at director, you know, it's 12,000, and again,
And
you can have.
Gina?
Yes, Cynthia.
Okay, so this is why I like the new comp plan, because it takes talent and it puts it back to work. So I have a cooked leg in my organization, and you're looking at them. So if you attract talent, attracts talent, okay? When you have leaders like Lisa Turner, she's going to attract dynamic leaders. So that makes it great. That leg is anchored down and it is running. Now, I could love to hang out with that leg, which I do, but the company wants to put Cynthia Sauer back to work into other legs. This is why I love the comp plan, because it's really smart and it's effective at getting the most out of me and you. Because Lisa has legs within her organization that are attracting leaders, but she needs to keep spinning these 3 teams. And I think it helps you to know where to focus, because in the long run, these things are structured like this so that the company remains stable. Remember, this is our company. And we have people in charge like Jeff who knows how to structure everything so that we're not imploding. So I love the new comp plan for this reason, because it's putting you back to work, yours truly, to go attract other leaders in the other 2 legs and get them to do what Lisa Turner's doing. And I can show them, look, Lisa's doing it over here. So love the new compensation plan. I'm excited about it. And as far as claiming the leg, I don't know if everybody really understood that. So I don't know if you have any questions, but if you do, you can always, ask us. But claiming the leg means that if you had someone on your front line, like I do, Mimi Uhlenkott, who's not my personal, that was placed there by somebody else, I have to have a personal underneath her, you see? But now I have a personal underneath her that's not her personal. Therefore, she needs to put someone under that person in order to claim that. So that's how you work synergistically. You're doing a great job training, Gina. I love it. It really opens up a lot of detail and questions for how to get in there and map it out and take action.
Well, thank you, Cynthia, and great point. So thank you for sharing. Anytime, just jump in, because you've been doing this enough to be able to really understand this more than most of the people that are brand new and getting in. So again, it's a team effort here, guys. So I'm gonna move on to the next slide. And this is a snapshot of what you see in the Victory website. So in order to get to this compensation plan, you would just go to your vni.life site, and our website defaults to the customer side. So underneath the logo at the top of the website, you'll see it says for customers. If you click on that, you will go to where it says for partners. And then when you click on partners, under the partners website, because it'll look different, it'll come up, you want to click on opportunity and scroll down. So when you look at the website, you'll be able to see, these are the positions and ranks that you can earn when you get started. As associate manager, manager, executive manager, director, which we're going to stop there. But up to director, you can claim up to 60% in the leg. And Cynthia Rose, particularly for you, since you've got quite a bit of volume in your personal center, because you have done a great job of getting preferred customers. Getting to executive manager is going to be easier for you, because guess what? That volume rolls over into the unilevel and counts on the weaker side. So you may have a strong leg doing, say, $3,000 when you have the 4,000, and that other volume is going to roll over out of your PV plus what you have in your second and third leg to help you reach those ranked positions. You know, we've got one of our partners here that we're working with here in Charlotte. He's a healthcare practitioner and has done an incredible, amazing, bang-up job of bringing in dozens and dozens and dozens of preferred customers, which has helped push him in the unilevel to the director rank. So don't think just because you're not bringing in partners, you're not building the business. You are absolutely building the business. You're doing the work. You're going to earn more money. You need a goal to get to, and everybody should have this goal to get to 20 preferred customers, because if you only have one, you're going to earn 10%. If you have 5, you're going to get 15% on what they earn every month or what they're ordering every month. If you have 20, you're going to get 20%. You could build an extremely strong long-term residual income just from preferred customer volume. And again, the upline gets paid on it. We get 50% of whatever they're doing. So if we'd have had this in the very beginning 5 years ago, of course, I always say it's all in God's timing. And as Cynthia mentioned, we don't want to implode the company. We want organic growth. So we're building it slower than probably some of us would like, but we're building it the right way. We're building it strong. We don't need to go open up another country, which probably a lot of other companies would have chose to do to get the quicker growth. But we don't need to do that. We got hundreds of millions of people between the U.S. and Canada. There are people out there suffering every day, and not only suffering physically, but they're suffering financially.
Yeah.
And I always say, if you're sick, you're lying in bed, it doesn't matter how much money you've got. If you can't help other people because you can't get out of bed, you're doing yourself a disservice. So take care of your health and then help others take care of theirs by sharing and caring. So again, just remember, this is not a race, it's a marathon. I do believe that in the beginning, if you work fast, your business is going to grow faster. So identify those people, again, who are holding their hands up and wanting to grow their business. At manager level, by the way, you're not required to have preferred customers. I encourage you in the beginning to start getting preferred customers, though. I know you're excited, you want to get the partners on board, and I understand that, but bring them on as a preferred customer. I always say all the time when I talk to people, it really don't matter how much science and research and human studies and all that we've got. And if you're watching this for the first time, Victory Nutrition sets themselves apart from other companies out there because we do have the science and the research and the studies. And you can go to vniscience.com to see that. But as wonderful as the supplements are, it comes up all the time when I talk to people, well, what will the products do for me? So therefore, encourage them to just become a preferred customer. Another reason is because if you put them in as a partner and you don't have time to tell them about this compensation plan and all these bonuses we have, especially the MAP pool, their clock starts ticking when they come on board as a partner. So that's another reason I hesitate to bring a new person on as a partner, because I want to make sure they're comfortable with the product, they love it, they understand it. Okay, so I'm going to move on. This is the unilevel commissions chart. And the reason I wanted to share this with you is because it's a 10-level plan. And as the company grows and as our businesses grow together, you're going to be much deeper than 10 levels. You're going to end up being 20 levels, 30, 40, 50 levels over the next few, years as we all work together and build this wonderful company. Well, that is a great thing that you're building a company and you're going to have this depth. But with one thing I'm going to bring up that probably won't be brought up on many other calls that we do is dynamic compression. Because our dynamic compression is different from any other company out there. Any company I had been with, if I sponsored someone, if I sponsored you, Cynthia, and Cynthia, you sponsored Lisa, and Lisa sponsored Cynthia Rose, and all three of you ordered, then you would be 3 levels deep underneath me. Here, all three of you can order, And that's still not considered a level. Well, what do you mean it's not considered a level? A level is, Cynthia, not only you ordered, but you personally sponsored someone who ordered, and between you and them or who's underneath them, you have a group volume of a minimum of 375. That constitutes a level. And I might have sponsored you, I might have sponsored Cynthia Rose, and I might have sponsored Lisa and put all three underneath. All three of you ordered. What happens? It rolls up to my front line. So I'll use Ed and me as an example. When we go in and we look at our commission summary, when we look at our monthly check, and if you don't know this, you can click on your commission summary. You're able to dig deep and go to the very last page. If you've got a lot of people on your team, go to your very last page. It's going to break down your bonuses, but also you're going to see the last person you got paid on and look and see what level they're on. So the last time I checked, which probably was a week or so ago, we were 20 plus levels deep in the compensation plan. When I looked at last month's check and I looked at the last person, they were on my 8th level. So qualifying at ambassador, it's a 10 level plan. We're qualified to earn down 10 levels, but the volume compressed up. Guys, that is incredible. That is a wonderful thing. So what does that tell me? We got paid on all the volume on our team. So that is huge. If we had other marketers understand this compensation plan like we understand it, then they would be jumping on board because they can build quickly in the beginning. They can build 1 or 2 strong legs and bring the third leg along and come and really build and move through these rank positions pretty quickly. So keep that in mind. And if anybody's listening and you do talk to, let's say, a professional networker out there, someone who's been in relationship marketing that's looking for a home, they're going to be asking the questions about the comp plan. So get them on the phone with me or Ed, and we'll be glad to go through the compensation plan and explain it to them. And that can make all the difference in the world. They will learn our mission and, our heart. But people are out there looking to earn money too. So, share it with anybody. I always pray, Lord, lead me to the right people that I can help and bless on a daily basis. Put those people in front of me. And you know what? God has never failed. He's never failed me. He leads me to people every day. I'm not comfortable doing what Cynthia Sauer does. She can go out there into Walmart and talk to somebody standing right behind her, and that's her. That's her personality. That's not me. I'm much more comfortable over the phone. Believe it or not, people end up picking up the phone and call me. People I've never met before. I might have talked 2 years ago, but they know that I care, and they might have seen a posting. So I'm not saying rule out social media. You can post, take some of the wonderful posts that Suzanne has posted in our back office, because there's a social media tab. Post some of that stuff and put your link out there because people are looking. And so figure out what's comfortable for you. Again, I work in warm market. I do believe in doing that. But I did want to stress here the dynamic compression. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share with you quickly, because we're running out of time. We're actually going to run over, but this won't take me but maybe 5 minutes. If you're brand new and you need to go to your back office, you can just simply go to vni.life. You don't have to go to your personal site. Go to vni.life and see up there at the top where it says the login button. You just want to click on the login. So what I'm going to do is go to the website. Let me see if I can get the website up here. And I'm going to log in to, I'm not logging in to Chris, and I've got the ID number right here of who I want to log into. This little lady I'm logging into is Pauline Smith, and she is one of my personally sponsored partners. She's been with us for 5 years. Now, she accredits the products for helping to save her life. And again, our products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent disease. But she had a heart attack. She wouldn't go to the doctor. She took a lot of Protovite, and she's doing great. She's 92 years old. She still runs her own business out in Nebraska. I had the opportunity of flying out there and staying with her and meeting her for the first time a couple of years ago. We spent some time together. And I met her through this industry of relationship marketing 7, 8, 9 years ago. She thanks me every time I talk to her for introducing her to Victory Nutrition. And so anyway, she takes 5 ounces of Protivite a day, girls. And she swears by it. She says, that's my regimen. I do 5 ounces a day. And she's 92 years old, still running a hardware business that she's had probably 60 years now. Her son, she still helps with his plumbing business, and she does all the paperwork. So she's an entrepreneur at 92 years old. But anyway, I just logged into her site, and if I was going to look at Pauline, which I do help her, guys. Let's face it, she's 92 years old. She's from the old school. Yes, she's got a computer. She checks this, but I double check her. So when I look at her and I go down and I want to make sure every month that she is qualified as a manager minimum, I see that she's got the 130, and see right there where it says 1,060. Now, what does she have to be manager group volume wise?
1,000.
Yep, she has to have 1,000. So she's met that qualification. And in her personal volume, she has to have 130. Okay. Now, will Pauline ever go out and get preferred customers? Maybe. But she's lucky if she has 1 or 2 customers a day walk into her store. She's in a little tiny town with probably 200, 300 people most. And there's nothing there. So chances are, is she going to go do social media? No, but she's got enough of her friends involved that order, and we've sponsored and placed people underneath her too, that she qualifies every month. So she is where, when we started building, that we personally placed some people and helped her, which also helps the upline. So that's important. Now, the other thing that you have to look at, and we're just looking at manager today, but the other thing you need to look at is if she had preferred customers, it would say down here, sponsored preferred customers, it would say 1, 2, or 3, or whatever she had. To quickly look at it and make sure, you would click on the orders, okay? And then when you click on the orders, you would go down to the bottom of July, which her bottom is right here, which is her subscription. But if she had 2 preferred customers, they would show up, and they would also show up in her PV. So Cynthia, I know you're well over 1,000 in your PV, so I knew you had preferred customers because I knew you didn't order $1,000 worth of product. But make sure you don't take it for chance just because it says you have personally sponsored preferred customers 4, 5, 6. Check here and count them and make sure the order went in this month. The reason is because they may be on an every other month subscription, and it may not hit this month. So you don't want that to drop you back either. So if I was going into Pauline's organization to make sure and excuse me, here is the pay quicker button, guys, so you don't have to go into documents. The button is separate. It's below documents. But if I was going into Pauline's website, I would click on orders. I would click on partner organization. I click on view. And I like the way our programmer has sorted this. You'll notice he put all the ones first. If you clicked on leg path, that's going to put your organization in the actual order of how they are in the genealogy. But when you first log in, it's going to be all the ones are listed first. And I want to show you this real quick before we end the call. I'm going to move this over so you can see you can actually get rid of some of this stuff or hide it. You can move this over. So if you don't want to print a report, you can do it this way. Okay. So when I go over and I look here and I'm going to actually sort by her PV, okay? Because these are just the orders that have come through in her organization this month. What does she need to make sure she's qualified? She's got to have 3 personally sponsored active people. So we know she don't have any return volume, but I'm just going to scroll on over. So here's the last order. If you got a big organization, I would suggest, if they're not frontline, like one of yours is not personally sponsored frontline, Cynthia, I would sort either through their back office or look through your, if you don't have access to it, if she didn't give you access, then sort by sponsor name, which you can do through this.
Right.
And just make sure you have the amount. But it's still key to make sure, looking through your genealogy, that you have one underneath Mimi, okay? So always make sure. It makes it a little bit easier, guys. Like, I know every month that my 3 personally sponsored active are frontline. Okay, so they're going to be active, but I do it at the rank that we're qualifying at. I do have to have more than 3. Okay, so I'm moving over so you can see sponsor name. Okay, so see right here, Pauline, 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 and I'm just going to move over with where my mouse is. And does she have her 3 personally sponsored people? Absolutely. So she's got Sheila Riggs, she's got Ali, and she's got Terry Smith. So eventually, as the company grows, I really believe we will have a snapshot in the back office that you'll be able to log in and see. Yes, I've got my 3 personally sponsored. I can see that these legs are qualified, because here you see where you see her 3 legs are qualified. That means she's got 3 personally sponsored active in each leg. Those legs are qualified. But there will be a snapshot that we'll be able to see automatically. You probably won't have to do as much digging as what I did. So anyway, we're over about 7 minutes. I'm going to shut this down real quick. And I will stop the screen share, and I will thank each and every one of you. Cynthia Rose, thank you so much for joining us. I know this was your first time joining us as one of our featured guests. Thank you again for getting up early, all the way from Idaho. And Cynthia, thank you. And Lisa, thank you for being here today. And if, again, everybody, we got 4 days left to close out. Lisa, Cynthia Rose, if you need anything, call me. I'll be working all weekend. And thank you, everyone, for watching, learning with us, and have a great weekend. We love you all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.